Today we're going to talk about one thing that if you don't have it on your website, I want to make sure that you add it, as long as you're able to, but you should be.
Welcome to the Up in My Business podcast with me, Lex Lancaster, where you'll get an inside look at all things tech, business, and my life as a physical therapist turned digital operations expert. You'll hear all about my lessons as a business owner, the ins and outs of tech for your business, and more. From SEO, websites, and email marketing to automations, launches, and copywriting, I've got you. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Up in My Business. I am Lex, the host of Up in My Business. If you're new here, welcome. I always start my podcast episodes off with a little life update, business update, and then I go into the episode. So we'll start with life stuff. And I just have to say, before I just jumped on to record this, we've spent the weekend at the beach cheering for Shante's mentor, also the owner of Fringe, so Fringe Red Light. The owner of that company, is Shante's mentor from Rock Tape, and we spent the weekend watching her daughter play volleyball. So we've been at the beach all weekend, in the sun, what have you. So I'm a little wiped, to be honest with you, but just feeling really great that we get to do this. And, I'm going to do a little bit of work today. And I took a peek at my week ahead, and I really needed the week that I have coming up because it's a little bit slower than the last 2 weeks have been, which have been wild. I still at the grocery shop today, do all the things, but I did not keep my word to myself that I was going to be a week ahead. So I think I'm going to record next week's episode tomorrow, and then also another episode for the week after by the end of the week. I'm also just going to put a block in my calendar to record this because just like everyone else who is a human, if I don't put it in my schedule, it doesn't get done. So I am going to do that for myself. But here's something that I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. So if you have ideas, let me know. But before I started recording this, I've been looking for this macro book that I bought from someone a while back, and I didn't know what email I bought it with, whatever. And lo and behold, I find myself in my undergrad and graduate school Google Drive folder. Holy shit. I just have to tell you, I look at these things that I did, and I'm like, I did that. I did that. And also I did that with a question mark. What? I'm mind blown right now. I know that most of my undergrad stuff is actually not in here because I wasn't a computer kid. I needed to print my notes out and stuff. So most of those I think they're actually in my parents' basement, to be honest with you. But all of my grad school stuff is here, and my certificate program that I did in my graduate certificate in healthcare advocacy, that's all here. And all the volunteer events that I planned, and I just found a paper, a biochemistry paper, and I'm like, what? This is insane. Anyway, what I'm getting at is there has been this idea in my head for a specific podcast series. And I'm like, I need to find time to do it because I'm very interested in something that I don't want to say it out loud just yet, but I have I think it'll be a really fun podcast series to do. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm like, I would love to do it. I don't know how to do it because I need to find time to do it. But and when I take a look at this, I'm like, this is a whole story. And I feel like a lot of people have this story. So anyway, if you haven't done this or taken a peek at your old stuff in a bit, I highly recommend. I can't even get over what I'm finding here. I can't believe I'm just looking at physics lab. What in the world? Oh, anyway, good times. Business updates. Really, there's not too much. I am keeping on, if you will. I am doing, I've said this for so long. I'm just doing some reworking, and I am taking a peek at my load as far as how many clients I have, and just trying to figure out, what the future looks like as far as how many clients I want to like always have on my schedule, and recurring work and time for calls, like coaching calls and what have you. I find coaching calls really fulfilling, but I also find that I always want to work with someone more than just that hour. So trying to find a solution for that as well. But that's on my plate. And, I have had multiple people who, one person is one of my coaches right now. I have a coach for ads because I want to, if I'm going to do something, I want to make sure I'm really good at it. And so the person that I hired, he is amazing. And I brought to him all of my knowledge, and he is basically just like checking my work, and it's been really helpful. And just making sure that I'm doing things properly. And then also going over, what he's seen with really big campaigns, like, spending thousands and thousands of dollars, which is not my current situation and like not what my clients are doing, but that has been so helpful. And something that we actually just talked about recently is like, I need to have a whole episode, which maybe I'm like, I might even switch the episode right now in my head as I'm saying this, because I need to record an episode. I'm going to actually do that this week. I'm going to write it down. Autoimmune disease. I'm going to record an episode. I think it'll come out next week for like my autoimmune flare and like why I do things the way I do them. But I had a meeting with my coach, and he was, he asked me, looked at my, how many clients I have, whatever. And one of his questions, and I've been asked this before, is like, are you feeling overwhelmed by clients? And genuinely, I don't know how many people can say this, and I'm so freaking grateful, but I love all of my clients. My retainer clients, if you're listening to this, like, you know who you are. And I adore my schedule. I adore my clients. Like, I genuinely have the best people that I work with. And I am so grateful. And also I'm just like, man, I'm so lucky. I'm so grateful. And it's like, my friend Mads and I were talking, and it's just like, it's a blend of, you attract what you are, and you have, you're able to, you find the people who will be a good fit for you. You're able to find your no. Like, I have worked with folks and I'm like, I don't really love this. I'm not going to do this again. So like, and that's, you find your no, you find your yes. And I'm just really grateful to say that I have these amazing clients. And I'm not entirely sure why I got to this place, except for saying that I'm, looking at my schedule and just saying, my coach has talked about what my workload looks like, what it could look like, yada, yada. And I'm just so content with where I'm at right now, because I work with the best people, and I'm able to help them, and they're so grateful. And yeah, I just work with the best people. So anyway, all of that is leading me to just say that I'm currently in a phase where I'm looking at my schedule, looking at how everything is going over on my side of the things, and seeing like what needs to change, does anything need to change, and then going from there. But all of that, like, it's just one of those long-term things that you're just always looking at. And I have a whole day, fingers crossed, on Thursday to look at this, and I'm going to adhere to that and make sure that I do actually take the time to do that and not fill it with other things, because it's really important. I will take my own advice that I'm always giving you on the podcast. So without further ado, I just want to jump into exactly what the episode's about today. So if you were, hanging on for dear life on that business and personal updates because it was boring, thanks for hanging out, because we're going to jump in. I want to just talk to you about some SEO, or an SEO result / success, if you will, something that works and something that you can add to your website that your website provider should allow you to add. So when people come to your website, I've talked about this so many times, but I feel like I need to keep just saying it and saying it and saying it and saying it. Whenever you are thinking about SEO, you're thinking about someone coming to your website, or you're running an ad and you're sending people to your website, you're always wanting people to come to your full website. I don't care. Well, I do care what page it is, but for whatever, for this, podcast episode, I'm going to say they're just going to come to your website. Okay. You definitely want that. And based on stats that I can see in Google Analytics, we can see that people do their research when they come to your website. So you might be thinking, oh, well, I heard I should send them to a landing page, or I heard I should send them to a page with one option. I'm going to tell you right now, you don't need to do that, and stop doing that, because you need to let people look around your website and start to gain some trust for you. One of the things that we're seeing right now is that people want a trustworthy source. They want a human. They want to make sure that they're hiring someone that they can relate to, that really understands them. They want someone who's going to be the person for them. And you can't do that in a landing page, especially for a brick and mortar service. Like, it doesn't work like that. You have to send people to your website. Now, when it comes time for what page are we sending them to? That's a whole different conversation. But what I want you to know is on the back end of Google Analytics, we can really see where people go on the website. And something that I'm seeing a lot of is people will go, they'll navigate around the website. They'll find themselves on the blog page. And what they end up doing is they find a blog. Now, this is where it's not like we lose them and we don't see where they go next, but I want to just pitch an idea that I believe every website should have if you're publishing content. So if you're publishing blogs and you're putting them on your website, you should have this specific feature. And that feature is a search bar. On your blog page, it would be really helpful to have a looking for something in particular, type your search below, or looking for something specific, and then you have a search bar. Why? Well, most people come to your website with an intention. They have an intention of getting something that they're going through taken care of, treated, yada, yada, right? So they're coming to your website with some sort of intention or something that is bothering them that they want to seek out your help for. On your website, if you're actively publishing content, you want to have a search bar, because then that person can come to your website, they navigate to the blog page, they see a box, and they're like, oh, I wonder if they have anything about this. They'll type that in the box, and then your blog post will come up, right? So that search bar is really important because it allows them to cut down time on finding something that is super specific to them. Now, you might be understanding next what my next ask is. My next ask would be that you are able to have content around the main things that you're treating or the diagnoses that you treat, which then goes back to me just saying you need to be putting effort into blog posts. People are looking for people to trust. And I've made a post on Instagram, and apparently people who don't know me find this podcast. So I'm going to say it here, and I'll continue to say it on the podcast, but I don't need to tell my people, the people who know who I am, the people who are in my ecosystem, the people who are the givers, the doers, the fixers, the people that are just full of drive, and they're very intentional about how they interact with their potential patients. They are the people. They are the people who are so passionate about their work, and they really care about the human in front of them, or the human that might be in front of them. And they don't use AI to write blog posts for them, because they would never want to fake credibility and fake trust with AI generated content. So if you are finding that you are that person, then you may not be my person. And number two, meaning like if you use AI to mass generate content, like, I don't know, I don't like to make an assumption that you probably won't like my ecosystem, but I am a big proponent of not using AI to write your blog content. Like, absolutely not. So let's jump forward now to where I was. So I just wanted basically to say you need to create content around the things that you treat and the people that you're passionate about treating, because they're going to be looking for that type of content on your website. And that should make sense. Like, it should genuinely make sense that someone is going to look for what they specifically have and content around what they specifically have before they reach out to you. So with that being said, there are two things that I want you to take away from this. One, it's that I want you to have a search bar on your blog post or blog post page if you're actively creating content on your website. I'm going to say three things actually. Two, we're always sending people to our website because when people get to our website, they're going to search around our website and then try to find content that is suitable for them and something that will help them. And lastly, we are always going to be having in the back of our mind the thought that we need to be publishing content for our people and the diagnoses that we treat and the services that we do, because without that, and if someone comes to our site, they may be searching specifically for one thing. And if you don't have that content there, they're not going to find something that is useful to them. And they're not going to find something that is outlining, an answer to their question, or they may not feel good about, for lack of better terms, they may not feel good about coming to see you for what they have, which means you do need to create content around those things if you want people to trust you and if you want people to gain your trust early on and, with the legitimacy because you're actually creating that content. And that's all I've got for you. Those three things are really what I want you to take away from this because it matters and it's continuing to matter more and more. And I will say blogging has never been dead, but blogging right now, and I don't even have an appropriate word for it, but writing your own content and putting your spin on things and putting your joy in it, your personality in it, all of that is so important right now. And being so helpful to your audience and the people that you want to treat is so important right now. So if you think about those three things, that's a lot of actionables. And if you're like, hey, Lex, 3 things is a lot. Well, number one, just make sure you're writing your own content, of course, about the topics that you need. If you haven't gotten started with blogging, you can start talking about different diagnoses that you treat. And number 2, once you have that content on your website, make sure you grab that search bar and have it on the search bar. Have it on the blog page so people can search for content that they're interested in. And lastly, whether you decide to do something for yourself or you hire someone to do something for you, just make sure everything is always built on your domain name and your website, because you want people to be able to scour your site and look at information and look at exactly who they're hiring and look at your bios and look at your expertise and look at your blog post, look at your contact page, look at your pricing page. You want people to be able to do that. Okay. So always have that in the back of your mind. And if something is not built on your website, we know that is, in my mind, I think it's problematic and I don't think it's going to get you the results that you're looking for. So with that, that's all I've got for you. I'm going to keep you posted on that new idea I have. I've had it for so long. It's literally in my notes app. I'm like, I want to do this. I want to talk about it. I want to do it. I want to have this guest series. But everything requires time, right? So we'll see what comes of it. All right, friends, that's all I've got for you. I thank you so much for listening, and I will catch you next time.